Alright, so this is the radar reverse velocity tutorial. I've had to make this a few times because my mic wasn't getting picked up. It's alright. So I'm going to make a new competition. Competition? Nice. Make a new composition. 1920 by 1080, 24 FPS. Tutorial. Now, I'm going to find a cinematic. Yeah, let's just use this. I'll double click it once I've dragged it into the project thingy over here. So not into the actual timeline yet. You can see I've got nothing. Just on the left, I'll double click. And I'll scroll along by dragging on this light blue bar. You see it moves that playhead with it. I'll find the start. I'll then click this button here. And I'll find where I want it to end. So like here. And I'll click this button. Now, when I drag it in, it is perfectly trimmed to how I want it. Up here in the preview window, I'm going to change full to third, so it's less of a toll on my PC. I actually need to go to edit. You see how, look, see how I do this and it keeps replaying it? That shows I need to go to edit, then purge, then all memory. And now you can see it plays the whole thing through. So now that I've got my cinematic in here, it's time to add my velocity. So I will click on the clip, click Ctrl-Alt-T, add a keyframe over here for the start, and add a keyframe for the end. So if I really quickly hide this, ignore how I hid it, it doesn't matter. Let's say I had a marker here for the start, because obviously I'm not going to drag a song in, I can't be able to do that, and I want my cinematic to end here. So yeah, got a marker here and a marker here. So now that means I need to extend my cinematic. It needs to be slowed down so it reaches this marker. So I will extend it out to here. And how frames work is basically, you can see here, the frame doesn't show if you hover your playhead over the last bit. It needs to have one chunk here. You can see there's a darker grey chunk here, lighter grey, darker grey. You need to have a chunk showing, otherwise it doesn't work. So that all I'm trying to say is you want to leave it directly cut here. And you want to move the last keyframe here. So you can see it's on this last chunk. So this last frame that we selected is the last frame possible. Right. So all that's done now is it has slowed down. I need to close all my stuff. Hold on. I'm going to purge the memory again to reset. There we go. Right. We've now slowed down our cinematic, and we can control how much where we want it to slow down to. Say my marker was here and I wanted to speed it up. I just bring this keyframe over, bang, sped up, and I'd obviously cut it on the marker, bang, so that's where I want it. Control Z to undo, by the way. Right. So, how we do the reverse velocity, we're going to highlight both keyframes. Quick tip, if you click on your clip and click U, it will hide and show the keyframes. So, we're going to hover over our keyframes, and what I did there was easy use the keyframes. I did that by selecting both, by dragging over them with left click, and then I click F9 on my keyboard. If it's not working for you, you may have a smaller keyboard. You need to hold FN and the 9 key. That's what I have to do. I have to hold FN and then click 9. Right, so once we've done that, we can now select our keyframes again and go into the graph editor up here. So this is where we're going to do our velocity. If your graph looks like this, all you need to do, right click on it and click edit value graph. This is where we're going to do our velocity. So what we're going to do here is simply drag the velocity how you want. So think of it as the steeper it's going. So you can see in this area, it's going steep up here. That's where it's going to be quick. And you can see it's way more straight and flat here. That's where it's slow. If I did it the other way around and it was like this, it's going to start slow and then speed up towards the end. Look. Oh, it's doing it again. I don't know, my PC's memory is getting cooked right now. So you see it starting slow and then speeds up right. And I can do the opposite of that. Blah, 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 blah. But this is not regular velocity tutorial. So all I'm going to do now is come out to the graph editor, and I'm going to move this keyframe to wherever I want the reverse to start. So let's say I wanted it to start around here. So my idea is I'm going to have it whip into the transition. This is the velocity I'm using. So it starts really quick like that. Bang, slows down, and then I want it to slow into a fast reverse. So we've moved our last keyframe to where we want the reverse to start. We want to go to where we want the reverse to end and add another keyframe. Now we can select this keyframe on its own, come over here to where the time is, and we can hold it with left click and drag left or right, and you can see that I am scrolling through time. So I'm just going to drag this to the left, and this is determining how far back in time the reverse is going. So if I wanted it to go really far back in time, I can drag it all the way to the start of the cinematic, and you can see it does that. If I drag it forward a little bit more, you can see it's doing a lot less. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to drag it back a lot. Now we can go into the graph editor, again highlighting all the keyframes, and you can see we've got an extra area to work with. So we've got our main keyframe here, our second keyframe, and our third keyframe. Another tip, if you select this keyframe here, or any keyframe this works on, and you move it up or down, this is also determining the actual time. So if I'm in here already and I'm like, I want it to go back further, I can just drag this down more, and as you can see, it makes it go back further. But we'll keep it normal. So my idea was, as I said, start off really sharp, smooth into the velocity, and then to whip out fast. So how we're going to do that, as I said, the steeper the line, that's where it's the quickest, and the flatter, that's where it's the slowest. So we want this to obviously be flat, it's staying flat, and then it ramps up right there, as you can see. So that is how you do reverse velocity. You can, adapt this however you want. Maybe you want the reverse to... Okay, that's messed up the velocity, so I'm just going to adjust that like that. Want the reverse to be just before the center of the clip, before the middle of the clip. So that's how you do that. If your slow motion is also looking a bit choppy, maybe you recorded into lower frame rate, all you want to do is come over here, double click this button to do frame blending. That'll make your slow-mo look way smoother. Bang, easy. Hope this is going to help you guys. Let me know if you got any questions.